Is there any sound? Okay there. Yeah, I guess just continue from where I was. And I'll be honest with you, I don't exactly remember where I was. So let's see.
A captain.
Okay, let's see. Immense helplessness, desperation, if left behind, a feeling of utter emptiness that wound its way through. No, wait, we didn't check his pulse yet, maybe he's still alive. Okay, so, long ass recap. 9 people were kidnapped. They were given explosive bracelets or something, and forced to play this Saw-like game. Well, not Saw-like, just they were forced to play these puzzles, and they're all trying to get to a door called, I think, just the 9th door. And along the way, people have died. People also have really weird names, so yeah. I'll be playing this again anyway, because you kind of have to play through it a few times. That'll probably make a bit more sense. But hey, the captain.
Does that mean this guy was Zero?
Zero was the main bad guy. Sorry, just checking. Yeah, Zero is the main bad guy. Or the person who kidnapped them. On his left hand was a bracelet. The number on the bracelet was 0.
Bracelet 0.
It was only then that Junpei noticed the stench of blood that filled him. He couldn't help but laugh. There was nothing else for him to say. It was too simple, too obvious, too straightforward. If there hadn't been a dead man on the floor, Junpei might have thought it was a joke.
Junpei.
Junpei is us, by the way.
It may be wise to find a way out of here first.
And everybody's name, besides Junpei, is a clue to the number they were given. So Ace is 1, Clover is 4. Because nobody wants to tell their name. Except Junpei, who kind of got ratted out pretty quickly.
Yeah, you're right.
Seek a way out. So yeah. Puzzle room. Where you, puzzle about. So, no. Yeah, okay. So, 2 rooms. Well, no, same room, but you can just turn the camera. They look like batteries. This cable running from them to the monitor. A chair. A drawer. There's nothing inside. What's the deal with this? Is it some kind of code? There are 4 rows of numbers and letters. They all start with a 0 and end with an 8, F, N, or V, respectively. Maybe this is something with the number bases until it's been added to the file screen. Cool. There's a bunch of weird buttons here. Probably switch or you see on the screen. You know how to work this thing? Oh, just press one of these, like this one. Well, I guess it... Oh shit. Some music. Well, I guess it does change the hell is this? There's fix that. Hey, isn't this the door on this? Isn't the door? Isn't the one that's the one right behind us? You're right. So whatever the camera sees is sent to the screen in real time. I wonder if that means something. You know?
Huh.
Junpei snorted with a grim humour for the second time since he'd come into the room. The 4 screens along the bottom had a single letter each, spelling out
Z-E-R-O, huh?
Thanks, man.
It's like he's making fun of us.
Probably is.
What do you think?
He turned to Clover, who was standing next to him. Clover came in here with her blind brother, who unfortunately is now dead. Clover nodded.
Nothing.
It seemed that she cared about little. Of course, Junpei could hardly blame her, given the strain she was surely under. Junpei was somewhat surprised she had responded at all. He still had to ask. He gestured towards the corpse.
What about him? Do you think that's really Zero?
Clover shook her head weakly.
There's no way that's him. Didn't I tell you already? Zero is one of us.
So her brother died because of some of the other people that were forced into this game. And she has her suspicions that one or a few of them could be Zero.
Yeah, right. Well, even if he wasn't one of us, there's no way that man could be Zero.
Huh?
Don't you get it? The letters that spell Zero on the TV screen, the captain's clothes he's got on, and of course, the bracelet with a 0 on it. It's too obvious. Look, this is Zero right here. This dead body is Zero. Isn't that kind of fishy?
You're right. Only an idiot wouldn't see through something like that.
No, that's not the point. I'm not trying to make fun of them for thinking a trick like this would work. I'm sure they didn't think it would work, which makes me wonder.
Is he not going to finish? Why did they do it?
I think this is a challenge. A challenge from the person who's really behind all of this. He's making fun of us. Don't you get it? If whoever killed this guy really wanted us to think this corpse was Zero, they'd never have put a bracelet on him. Walking around with a Zero bracelet would be like hanging a sign around your neck that said, "I did it!" Anyone with a brain would be able to see that this guy is supposed to look like everything Zero is supposed to be. Just like we did. The killer must have known we wouldn't think he was Zero and put the bracelet on him anyway. Do you know why?
Tell me, man. Why?
Why?
Like I said, he's mocking us. Too bad, suckers. This isn't Zero. Where's the real me then? See if you can catch me. It's the same bad joke a lot of criminals like to play. They'll just sit back and watch people run in circles.
That's really twisted. But it almost seems kind of childish.
Yeah, you're right. It's really childish. It's like it's just a game to whoever this person is. That's what seems funny to me.
It's already funny, though. Junpei bent down next to the corpse.
All right, let's get back to the point. Who killed this man?
I don't know.
And what's this guy's deal? Who is he?
How would I know that? If I knew anything, I would have told you.
You have no idea who he is.
Why would I?
Junpei sat back on his haunches and thought.
We should check and see if he's got anything on him that might tell us who he is. Give me a hand here, Clover.
Huh?
We gotta flip him over. How else are we gonna search his pockets?
Clover didn't move.
Okay, fine. Guess I'll do it.
Junpei had no choice but to move the body on his own.
Here we go.
He grabbed hold of an area, not completely covered in blood, and shoved. It took a moment, but eventually Junpei felt the man's bulk begin to shift. But just as it did,
Huh?
something fell from the man's left wrist.
Hey, it's the
bracelet with 0 on the face.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1. You escape from this ship. 2. Your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or detects that the wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
Oh God.
Junpei stared at the bracelet.
This man, he's dead, isn't he?
Huh?
No, it's just, I guess I didn't really think about it until right now. If his bracelet's off, that means he's dead.
Well, it's pretty obvious that he's dead. You don't really need to look at his bracelet to figure.
Yeah. I guess you're right. It is pretty obvious. Well, he looks a lot better than the other bodies we've seen, though. You know?
Well, that's not just the dumbest thing he's said so far.
I mean, if there wasn't all this blood, he'd almost look like he was still alive. I mean, I know it's kind of a messed up thing to say, but he kinda has it better, you know? Dying from a bomb going off inside of you, I mean, that's just... Some of Snake's bones went right through his skin.
Snake was, Clover's brother.
I think the explosion must have thrown him against a wall or something. There was a broken bone just sticking out of his left arm. And...
Suddenly, Junpei realized what he was saying. How could he have been so cruel? He clapped his hands over his mouth. But it was already too late. He turned to look at Clover. She was glaring at him, furiously.
What did you just say?
Her words sounded cold. He knew an apology could hardly atone for what he'd done, but he tried anyway.
Oh man, I am so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I really don't know what I was thinking. I mean...
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What did you say about his arm?
Arm?
Yes, his left arm. You said it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I did, but... I mean, didn't you see it too?
Of course not. I could barely look at him. There's no way I was gonna see the details.
Clover took a quick, deep breath.
Are you sure it was his left arm?
Junpei thought back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
And he had a broken bone, right?
What the hell are you getting at here?
Just shut up and answer me!
She shoved her face closer to his. He could see the fire in her eyes. Junpei winced and swallowed.
Yeah, he did. It was pretty bad, too. The bone was sticking out of the arm.
No sooner were the words out of his mouth than Clover's expression changed.
Clover? What's wrong? Look, I'm sorry if I said anything.
Apex. I don't have much of a summary besides people getting kidnapped, Saw style, bombs in their heads, and they have to solve escape rooms to escape. And they all have really dumb names based on their number. Besides the main character, me, who, like a dumbass, told everyone his name is Junpei. and everyone else picked a code name. Suddenly, she was crying. Junpei wasn't sure what to do.
Thank you.
It was close to the last thing he expected to hear.
Huh? What are you...
Junpei had no idea what had just happened. He didn't think he'd be done anything. He didn't think he'd done anything worthy of thanks, and he couldn't understand why she would have chosen that moment to begin crying. So he simply stood there, confused.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
Now I'm working tomorrow. Clover threw herself into Junpei's surprised arms.
Hey, what's going on with you?
I'm sorry, it's just... I'm so happy!
Why?
The body in the shower room, it isn't his! It isn't my brother!
Huh?
It's not Snake!
Why on earth would you think that?
Because his left arm is...
She stopped herself.
I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be talking about this.
Junpei decided it would be prudent not to press her for any more information. If she did not wish to tell him, she certainly had a reason for doing so. Perhaps more importantly, however, if Clover was so certain, then she was likely right. That meant the body in the shower room wasn't Snake. It wasn't much, but that knowledge lifted some of the weight from Junpei's heart.
But he's still alive. I'm so happy.
Tears shone in her eyes. Those tears melted Junpei's heart. Why didn't they fully voice it? It was a DS game, like OG DS game. So, probably because there's just too much to voice. As she cried, she had pushed herself up against his chest like a child. Junpei put his arms around her and held her tight.
I'm so glad.
Huh?
Junpei, you were right.
Huh?
No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love. If you can remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck.
That's...
Shit, forgot to read that. Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out. It was a laminated bookmark with a 4-leaf clover.
I only made it here because you gave me this. I was suspicious of everybody, and I was angry and miserable. But because I had this 4-leaf clover, because of what you said to me,
Yeah.
Junpei hadn't thought his words would have had such an effect on him. Her words were making him feel ill awkward.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She looked up at him. He scratched his nose and pretended to notice something interesting somewhere inside the room.
Oh, if you really want to thank somebody, you should be thanking Santa.
Santa? Why?
Well, he was the one who gave me that thing. And the words for each leaf, I got that from him too.
Oh.
Then suddenly, Clover broke away from Junpei.
Huh?
He looked confused. He hadn't thought she'd react that poorly. Clover began to pace around the room. 6 steps to the left, 6 to the right, another 6 to the left. And then she stopped.
Did Santa really tell you those things?
Her eyes were serious, but not angry.
Yeah, he did. Did I say something wrong?
Oh no, not at all. In fact, this could be really good news, I think.
You think?
Santa knew about the words and the clover. The only people who should know about that are the other subjects.
Subjects?
Oh yeah, there's a massive conspiracy in this game. Don't worry, I'll replay it anyway, so, yeah.
The other people who were in the experiment 9 years ago, with my brother and me. But he's blind. And I was part of the Nevada test group. So neither of us would be able to recognize the faces of the people who were on this boat.
Whoa. Okay, time out.
Junpei held up his hands. He took a deep breath and let it out.
Let's just calm down for a second, okay? Start from the top. Don't start with the end and then jump to the middle. You gotta start with 1 and then move to 2 and 3 and 4. If you don't tell me stuff in the right order, I'm never gonna be able to figure it out.
I like this game.
Okay.
Clover nodded.
All right, let's start with this experiment. What happened on this boat 9 years ago?
Do you know about morphogenetic fields?
Morphogenetic fields.
I'll just let the game continue. It's fine. He did, and the realization sent chills down Junpei's spine.
All right, how about this? Theory of the telepathic mechanism.
I think Lotus mentioned something like that.
Junpei recounted what Lotus had told him earlier. Clover nodded.
Telepathy, huh? Well, that's not really it, but I suppose it's similar.
So they were testing telepathy on this ship?
Yeah, I guess so.
So, what exactly did they have you guys do?
The same thing that we're doing now. Exactly the same thing.
What?
The nonary game. 9 people were put on this boat, and 9 others were put in the building in Nevada, and the game started.
Junpei grabbed the sides of his hand.
Look, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. What do the nonary game and some telepathy experiment have to do with each other? Am I missing something here?
Clover bit her lip. She blinked back sudden tears. What had happened to her in Nevada?
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger. You know how sometimes when you're up against a really tough problem, and then the answer just kind of pops in your head? That's an epiphany, and what you learn from the epiphany can be transmitted with telepathy. When you add danger to that equation, then it gets easier to transmit that information over telepathy.
So you're saying the nonary game was supposed to introduce that element of danger?
Yeah, but it couldn't be just any old danger. It had to be life and death. And someone did actually die. A girl.
Huh.
Junpei felt the sudden grip of despair on his heart. Something deep and distant and powerful squeezed, and for a moment he felt very, very empty and alone.
She was on the boat with my brother. I was in Nevada. I never met her, but I did hear her name. Her name was...
Oof. The sound of the door opening was like a gunshot. Hey, good night, man. Junpei spun around.
Oh, my apologies. I seem to have disturbed you.
Ace!
You two must have strong stomachs. I can't imagine how you could stay in this room for so long.
Ace glanced down at the floor, at the corpse covered in blood.
At any rate, Junpei, would you be so kind as to come and help me with something? I'm having a little trouble, and I could really use your assistance. Come on, it'll only take a moment.
With that, he turned and walked back towards the communications office. Clover waited until he was out of sight, then spoke in a small, quiet voice.
I don't want Ace to hear us. We can talk about this later.
Yeah,
Huh?
sure.
Hey, wait!
Clover ignored him. From outside, Junpei could hear Ace calling.
Junpei, what are you doing in there? Hurry up!
And he's a cockblock. Grumbling to himself, Junpei stomped off towards the communications office. Look, a hook. That wasn't a joke. I know. Junpei, what are you doing? We've searched the wheelhouse from top to bottom. There's no reason to go back. In fact, don't you think it'd be wise to investigate the captain's quarters? I think we ought to check both rooms, don't you? Hey, what's this? It's blank. There's nothing written on it. Might be some paper. Is that in the drawers anymore? It looks as though the drawer is the only thing that's locked. I don't see a keyhole though. An electric lock, perhaps? Take a look at the left side of the drawer. Yeah, there's some cables over there. Must mean this is a really long cable. The tip is hooked into one of the desk drawers. There's a pair of headphones on the desk. And the communications device, most likely used to transmit a radio signal of some sort. I experimented with them earlier, but to no avail. Much of it's broken. Isn't it like some Morse code thing? The cable that comes down looks to this. What does it mean? Ace, look. It's a model steam train. How on earth did you arrive to that conclusion? Get that bass low. Hey Ace, look. It's a monkey with glasses. How on earth did you arrive to that conclusion? Kinda looks like someone's been watching too much TV. To be honest, I have no goddamn idea what this thing really is. Probably some kind of radio transmitter. Yeah, probably. Just some line. Well. Excuse me. It's a telegraph key. The machine transmitting Morse code. I tried sending an SOS earlier, but I doubt that did anything. So we'll never make it that easy. So you think it's broken? No, it works. I'm just not sure it actually transmits anything outside of the ship. Telegraph key. Ace says you can use it to send messages in Morse code. Ace, look, there's a big ass rat trap over here. I told you. Okay. Someone's getting a bit a clock might on the wall. The hands aren't moving. No surprise that the time is wrong then, I suppose. And there's nothing on the back. Okay, cool. It's an old telegraph machine. Nothing suspicious here. It's an old telegraph. Seriously? It's a telegraph machine. Small screwdrivers. Instead of small screwdrivers, perhaps we can use them to dismantle some small device. Something in the drawer. There's this ink. It's filled with ink. Let's combine it with the paper. There's a plaque on the door, but it doesn't say anything. What if we just plug in the door on the paper? It looks like whatever the camera sees shows up on the screen behind us. Yeah, so if I put my hand in front of it, it shows up in the middle top of the screen back there. You've got a short life from Junpei. Mind your own business. Okay. the control panel for the electric lock. I guess I've got to put something in the passcode. I don't think it's about numbers. There's a hole at the bottom right. I think I need a key first. Yeah? There's blood on the shelf. Do you think this was the dead guys? Yeah, probably. It's a lamp. It isn't coming. I don't think there's anything special about it. But this, the damn music box. It's one of those old music boxes. How about we wind it up? Why does it sound like that? Is it broken? The pins on the cylinder are shaped a little bit. I don't think it's one of those pins. It looks like someone's put something on top. I think we're gonna have to take it apart to figure out what's going on, don't you think? Yeah, sure. Alright, screwdriver to make sure work on this music box. I guess I'll put it in. I just gotta roll it out. I'm right, you should. Mouse code. Nice. Nothing. Looks like it doesn't work anymore. That's what I do. Okay. Alright, I've got the mouse code I'm supposed to enter. If I do this right, something will happen. Alright, let's give it a shot. So, locked. What? That's the last one in? Yes. Excellent. Good job. You seem to have figured it out. You've unlocked the drawer. A red file lay in the drawer. They reached down and picked it up.
Looks like there's something on the cover. ALLICE. All ice. Alice. Does this mean...
Junpei couldn't hold back. He had to know what was in the file. Each page was covered with strange characters. They looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, wings, and even kneeling humans. There were many pages in the file, and each was full of these strange symbols.
What the hell is this?
He didn't realize he'd spoken out loud until Ace looked over
They
it.
are hieroglyphs, a form of writing used in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt?
That's right.
Can you read them?
Of course. I can't. What would make you think I could?
What the hell?
I think Ace is getting more and more upset. Junpei flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just one or two pages that was covered in these strange symbols. Every single page was covered in them.
Whoa, the whole thing's like that.
Trying to read them was pointless. Junpei wasn't going to waste any more time with them. He made to close the file, and something fell out.
Huh? What's this?
He bent down and picked it up.
Oh, a key card.
There was a symbol on it that reminded Junpei of the symbols for the Saturn and Mercury keycards. This one, however, had a dot in the center of a male symbol.
Uranus. That's the Uranus symbol.
Uranus symbol. That's the Uranus symbol. Junpei looked over to see Ace examining the card. In addition to the Uranus symbol, there were 3 words engraved in the card as well. Bottom. Uranus bottom. Bottom deck.
Something's written on the bottom.
Can't actually read the other one.
Bottom deck library.
Library.
This must be the key to the library, then.
Bottom Uranus.
So it would seem.
Bottom deck library. Oh.
Junpei remembered something he'd heard from Seven when they'd been in the chemical closet.
Seven said something like,
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge beneath the navel of the Gigantic.
could beneath the navel mean the bottom deck, and the Forest of Knowledge is the library?
Sure, why not?
Then could Alice be in a room somewhere beyond the library?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong? Something on your mind?
Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace looking at him. Curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts.
Yeah. I just remembered something.
Is that so? What about?
Well, don't laugh, okay?
There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. He began to explain his theory to Ace. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be, so he told Ace everything June had told him.
The Egyptian priestess and Ice 9. Interesting.
And the woman who wouldn't melt, who was recovered from the Titanic disaster? They called her All Ice, which eventually turned into Alice. And she was purchased by an English millionaire who called himself Lord Gordain. According to Seven, this ship is where he...
And you think that he hid her in a small room, beyond the library on the bottom deck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is just a theory.
Ace stared off into the distance, his hands slowly and absent-mindedly stroking his beard. After a few moments, his hand stopped. He turned slowly to look at Junpei, and his brows drew together.
Junpei, have you ever heard of the term CAS?
Cass?
It stands for Cells Alive System. It is an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic matter. Put simply, it is a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals. Normally, if you freeze something fresh, water within its cells expands as it crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane. CAS, however, works differently. The object to be frozen is supercooled using magnetic fields, and then frozen instantly and uniformly, giving ice crystals no time to form. It was originally developed for the preservation of food, as an alternative to the normal freezing process. Now, however, there are rumors that it can be used for other things.
What do you mean, other things?
Well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps also space travel.
Space travel? Are you serious?
Surely you've heard of suspended animation, cryogenic freezing? It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space.
That was when Junpei understood what Ace was suggesting.
Whoa, wait a minute there.
Ace looked at him and raised an eyebrow.
Are you saying that Alice was frozen using that Cass thing?
Well, I'm sure the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility. If this special ice you call Ice 9 does indeed exist, and casts were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously.
You think she could be alive?
Well, I can't say for sure, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities. The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right? If she were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature...
That's nuts. Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking about?
You're quite right. It does sound unbelievable. But if she had, then we would have an explanation for the man we found dead on the floor.
You mean the guy dressed like a captain?
Yes. He was dead when we found him. Clearly, he was murdered. But if he was murdered, then by whom? It couldn't have been one of us. That would be impossible. In order to enter the captain's quarters, one must first open door 1. That door that requires the Earth key prevented us from accessing door 1. Who was it that opened that door?
Santa and Lotus.
Right. Clearly, the two of them could not have opened door 1, or any other door for that matter. Who else then could have done so?
Junpei thought for a second.
Nobody. After Santa and Lotus used the Earth Key, they turned back and met up with me in June. Then we returned to the large hospital room and found Ace, Seven, and Clover. While we'd gone into the shower room, Ace, Seven, and Clover had stayed behind. But it's impossible for those three to open door 1. But what about when June and I took the elevator to door 2? No, still won't work. We were only gone 5 minutes. No human being could have run to the captain's quarters and killed that guy.
It would be impossible for any of us to be the murderer. That being the case, who could have killed him? Wouldn't it make sense if his killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time? A person like that would know the ship well. They would know the locations of all the hidden passages and secret doors. The numbered door would mean nothing to someone like that. It would be a simple thing for them to enter the captain's quarters.
Then you're saying the killer was Alice?
It was Junpei's turn to raise an eyebrow. He threw his thumb across his lips thoughtfully.
Well, this is all only one possible theory.
All ice. Alice. Is she really somewhere on the ship?
Junpei had only one clue. The key card in his hand.
Maybe this card will give me access to the Forest of Knowledge. And the big mystery. What could be there beyond the Forest of Knowledge? Anyway, whatever. It's gonna have to wait. I can't do anything right now.
Nice.
I'll come back to this later.
He gripped the card, the key card tighter, and shoved it into his pocket. Nice. Oh, whoops. What was it? File. A file found communications office. It says all ice on the spine. All of the pages are filled with hieroglyphics from ancient Egypt. Yeah, hexadecimal. Unique key. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else here, is there? Oh, they took the paper. Okay, maybe then I don't have it. Zero. The control panel for the electric lock. Looks like I've got a key holder. Maybe the key I got it. Sweet. Just put the key in and now it's on. Okay, look. There's a minus sign on the screen. There's 8 of them. It probably means we've got to put in 8 digits. You think you can figure it out? Pretty sure I've searched every part of the room by now. Oh, yeah, we have. They wanted to say 0, they could only... Okay. So... 26... A, B, C, D, E... That's 0, 5... A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, P, Q... So what's that, 18? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Am I losing it? Have I just fucked it up so much? What's kind of weird spot on the screen behind us? It's gotta mean something. Yeah, it's gotta mean something. I wonder why the screen shows the exit. It's just the door. The 4 on the bottom just says 0. The exit. And those 4 letters. Maybe. It's not going to be a hexadecimal thing again, is it? Wish my legs. What's this? Yeah. It probably is hexadecimal. So in hexadecimal, Z is 26. To get to 26, it would be. So 26, no, is it? So it starts off at 10, so 10 is A, B is 11, C, that would be 35, E would be, as far as just 14. No, he was 18, so it's 25, 14, 27, and 24. Whew. Okay, so good job. Excellent, you seem to have unlocked it. Good work, Junpei. Alright, let's go.
All right, let's go.
Oh, shit. They stepped out of the cabin's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit, before turning left, like a great backward L. Junpei rounded the corner and took off down the straightway. He ran, and ran, and ran. At the end of the hallway...
That's the next door.
He made straight for it.
Wait, a piece of paper.
He was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor. Junpei skidded to a halt. He dropped down to his hands and knees and quickly tore the paper off the floor.
Map of the ship's interior for A-Deck.
What's wrong?
Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age, had finally caught up to Junpei.
I found a map for this floor.
He showed Ace what he snatched from the wall. He looked at it long enough to determine that it was what it was.
I see.
With that, he began running again, past Junpei.
Well, that was anticlimactic. I should keep this, though.
Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow Ace. But something stopped
Hey,
him.
where's Clover?
He turned around. Clover was nowhere
Damn
to be
it!
seen.
What the hell is she up to?
Junpei muttered angrily beneath his breath and took off back to where he came. As he stomped around the corner, he saw her. She was standing in front of the door in the captain's quarters, a hand on the door.
Clover!
Huh?
As Junpei watched, she closed it, and quietly.
What the hell are you doing?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket, as if trying to hide
What the
something.
hell is that?
What?
You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
Oh, this? A note.
A note?
Yeah, I found it in the pocket of the guy with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister hand or something.
God damn it, man.
What the hell? Let me see it.
No, not right.
But Junpei wasn't going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's
Hey,
voice.
Junpei, Clover! What are you two doing? Hurry up!
He's getting mad.
Clover shrugged.
I'll show it to you later, all right? Come on, we gotta hurry.
Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the L, a note. Junpei was curious. But there was something else that bothered
From the
her.
look of that pocket, it doesn't particularly look like just a note. Jeez, what are you thinking? For crying out loud.
Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later, and ran after Clover. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of
Big
stairs.
stairs. So this is where it ends up. Just like it says on the map.
It was just what you'd expect to see after reading the map. His "I see" after reading the map himself meant that Ace was probably realized the same thing.
Ace, did he head down?
He put his hand on the rail and leaned over to look down.
Oh, there he is.
Look, the 4 others are there too.
And not just Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus. as
Really?
well.
Let's join them.
Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They both reached B deck at the same time.
Jumpy! Clover!
June's face was excited. Something had happened, that much Junpei could
What's
tell
up?
simply looking at her. Given the situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself.
We found it!
Found what?
We found it!
Excuse me.
What did you find?
The last door! We found door 9!
What?
Come on! Just follow us. We'll explain on the way.
Okay.
Seven turned and jogged off the stairs.
Well, if that's the case.
Wait for me.
We should get going as well.
The rest followed.
Jumpy! We finally made it!
The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each of them felt.
Yeah, it's finally time.
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe that they'd done it. At least, not just yet. But still, if everyone said that it was the one, then it probably
We
was.
reached the end.
He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one.
But something's bothering me. Only 3 to 5 people can go through the numbered door. 7 of us are on our way to door 9. That means that, best case scenario, there will be 2 of us who have to stay behind. 2 people. Is there a way?
Junpei looked over at the clock.
4:30. We've only got 90 minutes left. I've got no time to wonder about it now.
Hey, Junpei! June! What the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up!
Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
Let's go, Jumpy!
June took off, down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could.
Yeah.
Junpei followed. This music, though, is pretty fucking sick. As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down to E deck. It looked familiar. Those metal gates between the 2 elevators. 7 grabbed hold of and began to talk.
I know I told you I'd explain it earlier, but honestly, there ain't much to explain. After we split off from you guys, the 4 of us got into the elevator on the left, and that took us to the other side of the grate. After that, we headed down another hallway. It took us toward the bow, and eventually to the number 6 that you 2 found earlier. We opened it and kept going. There was another locked door behind it, like usual, but this time we had to complete 2 different areas before we could unlock it. Once we were through that door, there was another hallway that went the other direction, toward the stern.
So, on your way, you found the elevator.
That's right.
So, in other words, you kinda did a lap, huh? You came from that side to this side.
Yeah.
That settled. Junpei looked
So,
around.
where's the number 9 door?
Over here. Follow me.
7 began walking down the hallway that led towards the stand. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up.
By the way,
They had been walking for a while. June in silent step with Junpei when she spoke.
you know, it's because of Santa that we're all here right now.
Huh?
That all 7 of us are going to door 9. You don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus. What's their digital route?
9. It's not...
That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they'd wanted to.
But they didn't.
Yes, because Santa wouldn't let them. He said, we can't leave June and the others behind. That's why we went looking for you guys.
And then you got on the elevator and went back to the central staircase.
That's right.
Well, I wouldn't have called that one. That Santa would be the one to stick up for you. I mean,
Junpei felt his eyebrows in his as he considered that.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's concern.
I don't mean that 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just talking about it, and Santa objected to it first.
is that so?
Junpei was about to respond. 7 suddenly stopped.
We're here.
In front of them stood a door.
So, is this...
Yeah.
Junpei couldn't see Seven's face, but he could see him nod.
There's no other place for us to go.
Nope. Just look around. There's a big old iron wall at the end of the hallway. The other hallways on the left and right are blocked by metal grates.
I see.
It looked as though Seven was right. The door in front of them was their only choice.
All right, let's get moving.
He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed.
Oh,
It appeared they'd been telling the truth.
no way.
The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing, made of red paint. The door decorated sat in the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it.
The 9 door.
It was a large double door, Alpha style. Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish.
We're finally here.
He grabbed the handle and shook. It didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door. It's displayed red. Vacant.
No doubt about it. This is door 9.
That's what it says.
Oh, finally! This is the last.
Junpei felt a flood of emotions wash over him. He felt a chill down his back, and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. There was a moment of complete silence.
Junpei, look behind you.
He turned
Behind?
around.
What?
Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw.
Why? A door and another. There's another one? Hey, what the hell? What the hell is going on here?
His words came slowly, and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second door. It was a small door, set parallel to the door they'd come through. But in the other corner of the room, 9. There was no mistaking the number. If any more proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall.
There's a red there too. That means... And of course it won't open.
He grabbed the handle and shook the door. Not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real.
Why? Why the hell are there 2 doors?
It was Ace who spoke first.
Do you think perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong one?
Lotus was skeptical.
I don't know about that. It seems unlikely.
What makes you say so?
Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They're full of puzzles. There are always hints about how to solve them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just had to go with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. Do you really think that at the very end of the game, Zero's going to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck?
Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room.
No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. I searched it very well when I was in here before. I didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though.
Well then, that means...
Yeah, both of these are the right door. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it.
It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
Junpei began to mutter to himself.
So if there are 2 number 9 doors, if we split it up, right?
That's not gonna work.
Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held her hand.
You've got a notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them?
Yeah, here.
Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her.
Look at this.
Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
You get it? The numbers on the top are all the combinations with digital roots of 9. The numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit. There's only 8 possibilities if we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people. So...
If 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind. Right?
yeah.
Clover nodded, almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult enough problem.
No way.
The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone with a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were blank.
Come to think of it,
Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around him.
what is this room?
Looks like a church. The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadow of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the
It
room.
looks like it's set up for some kind of ceremony. But what kind?
Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stand of the boat. At the other end of the carpet,
Is that an altar?
there was a recessed space set into the wall between the 2 other doors. Sitting on the raised section of the altar was a coffin. A coffin.
A coffin? No, it couldn't possibly be.
If it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced.
Okay, I give up. I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer. But I guess nobody's got the guts to do it.
What are you talking about?
Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one.
What? You guys didn't figure it out yet?
Wh-
Fine, fine. Let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong. She just... screw it. Let me just write it out.
Seven. Seven snatched up the notebook and began writing it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look.
If you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination.
Wait, this means...
Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
The same thing? Are you saying?
Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind.
Seven, man. He's a big mountain. I like him. Huh?
Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden? Are you some kind of idiot?
Lotus was the first to speak. That in itself was a little strange. She'd reacted much differently than Ace had
No,
vomited.
I'm completely against this. I'll be goddamned if I'm gonna have to owe you for getting out of here.
The rest of them began to speak all at once.
I'm against it too. I didn't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either.
I don't like that idea. There's gotta be other options.
I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero.
Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at Seven.
Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's gotta be a better way than this.
Seven made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough.
Doesn't make any sense.
He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corner of Seven's eyes. Aww. That was when Santa spoke.
Whoa, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet.
Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable.
Are you agreeing? You want to leave him here?
Santa shook his head.
Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone.
Then I don't see how it matters.
I said alone.
Huh?
I said I don't want to leave Seven alone.
There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver.
What the hell are you?
What? You don't get it? I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more.
I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more.
3 people, including Seven. I'll be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal. No. Those are my orders.
What do you mean, orders? What the hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the hell's gonna listen to you?
You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice.
What?
3, 2, 1.
He's gonna go to a door, isn't he? Santa was so fast, Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet moving like lightning. He spun and he had June.
See? I told you.
His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile.
Huh? What?
A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze, and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed no more. The gun in his right hand, or revolver, and had grabbed June from behind and pressed Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against the top.
Why? What the hell is that?
Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Junpei's questions roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke, almost as though he'd sensed Junpei's confusion.
Guns from the other room.
What room?
One of the rooms behind door 6. I should have known he was gonna do this. I should have taken the gun.
Well, it's too late now, fat ass.
Damn it!
A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face, and he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lip twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then, the smile faded, and he began to move. He walked backwards, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly, and then forced June to do the same.
Now,
It's 3 and
time for you to
6.
start following my orders. Ace, Lotus, congratulations! I've chosen you to come with me. Put your hands in the red.
3 plus 6 plus 1 plus 8, 18. That was what Santa had meant when he said he needed to.
Hey, you deaf? I gave you an order.
Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stared, frozen, like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car.
Right, fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it.
No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched, and the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wood and splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked through the hole in the floor. There could be no doubt that the gun was real. And why?
He really shot it? But why? Santa, why are you...
Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends.
What?
You knew about the leaf words and the four-leaf clover.
Santa's cheek twitched, almost imperceptibly.
What the hell is that shit? I've got no idea.
You're lying!
Shut up! Just shut up! You stupid bitch!
Yikes.
You want me to put a bullet in your fucking head?
Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth. His face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small.
Santa!
He snorted, then shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus.
All right, assholes. What are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. Oh, what's the matter? Your hearing's starting to go? Going senile, maybe?
Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they wouldn't move. June's face was pale, in Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild, and the chest heaved with very quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then you realize something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to
That's
debate.
it.
June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would really save from at least two threats. She wouldn't be shot and she could leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace and Lotus. There's only one thing for Junpei
It's
to
the
do.
only way.
He turned to Ace and Lotus.
Please, go.
Huh?
No way. Jumpy, what are you... If you stay here, you're going to be stuck, Jumpy. And so will Clover and Seven.
I know. But you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Right, Seven?
Right. You just leave it to us. It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but...
Don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of.
No, you can't! Ace, Lotus, don't come over! Don't worry about me, please!
June was almost crying. Junpei walked around behind Lotus and Ace. He gently placed a hand on each of their shoulders.
Please.
And pushed them towards the door. They almost stumbled, then righted themselves and took another step, and another. He turned around, and Junpei nodded.
Go.
Oh, all right.
Fine.
Ace and Lotus turned around again, and walked slowly towards the door. Towards the door, as Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked 9. Santa smiled.
All right, now let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What? You think I'm fucking around here? I don't give a shit about this girl. Bread doesn't need a person, you know? All I need is the bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands on the scanner. I'm not gonna say it again.
He shoved the revolver harder against June's head.
Fine.
She missed. Ace sighed, defeated, and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Santa and slammed her hand into the scanner panel. The 4 phosphorus blinked on.
Good job. Now, Lotus, pull that lever. As soon as the door opens, you get your ass in there. Try anything stupid, and you know what happens, right?
Damn it.
Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, muffled rumble. It rumbled to welcome the second.
Good.
Chosen.
Go!
Lotus and Ace walked through the door, neither eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way in. Then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well.
Later.
After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air created caused the candles of the altar to flicker and dim. The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and Seven had been left behind. Clover looked down at her hand and traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. Seven shoved his arms into the fronts of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the two. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. It read engaged. He moved to the smaller door. The red read vacant. The digital route of the remaining people was 7. There was no possible way for them to open the door with a 9 on it. Junpei touched the surface of the door.
June.
He thought about June, about Akane Kurashiki. Was she safe? That was all that mattered to him. If she was alive, if she had escaped this horrible boat, that was what Junpei prayed for. 7 came up next to him. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and sighed.
So, what do you want to do, Junpei?
What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do?
7 opened his mouth to respond when a noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. It wasn't mechanical. It was certainly human. Junpei and 7 looked at one another.
What the hell is that?
Shh, quiet!
Clover motioned to 7 to be quiet. She put one finger to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. The 3 of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from.
Where is it coming from? Could it be?
Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin.
You're right.
Let's open it.
But how?
What are those muscles for? For show?
You're telling me to force it open?
Just shut up and try!
Junpei and 7 grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip with what little purchase they could find, and pulled with all their strength.
Damn it!
It won't even budge.
There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes almost immediately drawn to
Not another one.
Yeah, looks like it.
Do you think we have to put in the right password or it won't open?
I think so.
The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder.
Whoever or whatever's inside this thing wants out, and now.
I know that. But how?
Without a passcode, I don't think there's much we can do.
They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be.
Isn't there a hint somewhere?
Well, let's look for one.
Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews, and 7 investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing.
Ugh, there's nothing here.
Not making this easy, are they?
The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room.
What's the passcode? What am I supposed to do? How can we figure it out? I need something.
Unfortunately, that's actually not sad. We're just gonna get up just like that. Now it's the time. Let our game begin. You have reached one ending. This game has multiple endings. In order to experience all the endings, you need to play through the game multiple times. Make sure to save your progress now to retain all information you've acquired. Memory of Escape has been added to the title screen. Memory of Escape enables you to replay the escape rooms you have completed. Would you like to save information? After saving, the game will restart from the beginning. Please select the save slot. And that is the coffin ending, designated by a big coffin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yeah. Locked. We can't get past that. We